Humans, what have you learned?
Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Yes, it's Iron Storm here and I am doing a review for Mafia, the old country. But before I get into any of that, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of more content. And even if you aren't new to the channel and you're just a returning viewer and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. It will help the channel immensely. But let's get into my review of Mafia, the old country. So, if you've played any of the Mafia games in the past, this will feel very, very familiar to you. And story-wise, this is top-notch. This literally grabs you by the balls and does not let go. Yes, it has a very slow start, but please, if you go and play this after you've watched my review, stick with it. Even I struggled at the start and I was thinking this might not be for me, but trust me, it explodes in a way you will never ever see coming. So story wise, they have nailed it. The characters in this game, you feel like you get to know them. They have paced it really, really well. They've also tied this game story wise to Mafia 1, which is a nice touch. Some of the cameos in this game are bigger than I thought they were going to be, and then you have little subtle nods in the collectibles, but we'll get back to that later in the review. So story wise, I have not got much more to say because I do not want to spoil it for anyone, but trust me, you are in for a treat. Now visually, this game is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. The open world, well, we'll get more on that later on because it's not open world in the way you're thinking, is absolutely gorgeous. It's a character on its own. This whole map is beautiful. The little vistas and yeah, just look at the gameplay. It is absolutely, it's like watching a film. It really is like watching a film. The main characters, they're modelled really well, very detailed. Obviously, with them being associated with Take-Two, which Hangar 13 are, they have access to obviously a lot of tech that's used in like previous games like LA Noire and GTA. So the facial animations, they are crisp. They are really good. The cutscenes in this game, you just need a bowl of popcorn. You could watch them as a film. They are that damn good. But there are a few little issues with the visuals. Now I've had clipping, I've had plants growing through a box, I've had people's hands not in the pockets of their jackets, them little things. Now if you weren't really paying attention, you probably wouldn't even notice them. But I was sat here the other night watching Mag's live marinated review of Mafia the Old Country, and guess what? I go back on the game and I have the worst screen tear I've ever seen in a game. It probably beat Cyberpunk, and I had to dashboard it and start again. So that is not a good thing, but that can be fixed with patches and all of that lovely stuff. So overall, visually, this game is absolutely stunning. I can't fault the visuals. It is beautiful to look at. Now, audio wise, the soundtrack in this, there are a few good tracks, but then the rest of them just didn't work for me compared to previous Mafia games, which is a shame. The guns sound good though. The ambient noise, the cars, everything sounds as they should. The only issue is the soundtrack. If I was to be perfectly honest on the audio, it just didn't sit very well for me. Now, gameplay wise, as you can see on screen, yes, there are horse races. There is also a car race in this game. Yes, if you remember the original back on PC, it was one of them things that kicked your ass on numerous occasions when you were playing it because the AI was absolutely brutal. But this is the same as the Definitive Edition where they fixed that little issue and you are not going to have any issues. The horse racing is really fun to do. The car race is really fun to do as well. The lead up to that car race, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's absolutely hilarious. You need to play the game, and it is so funny. Really is funny. The gunplay in this game It feels heavy, it feels weighted, but to me the aiming was really off compared to the previous Mafia titles. So I don't know what they did with that. It probably ties into the whole rosary that Enzo has, but to me, you didn't need that. I know they've done it for replayability and different perks and things like that, but to me it didn't need it. You should have kept it exactly how it was in the previous Mafia games. There is stealth in this game. It doesn't force you to use the stealth mechanics. It's not tacked on. It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't punish you. It's relatively simple yet effective. So the overall gameplay, so gunplay, stealth, that all works for me. It really does work. You then have this so-called free roam, which is a nod back to the previous Mafia game, the very first one. And free roam was a thing that you did after you finished the main campaign. You didn't have an open world, but you could still go and explore the map because they class that as a character on its own, and they haven't done any different here. It is a character all on its own, but it doesn't tie in very well with regards to the collectibles in the game. The collectibles in this game are scattered around the map and also locked into certain missions. So to collect them, you have to be doing the mission. The rest of them are in free roam. But you still have the option every now and then to kind of venture off the beaten path a little bit when you're driving between missions. In a sense, it's more like a checkpoint. You can skip it. It wants you to just, it's part of the narrative, it just wants you to go from point A to point B. And that to me felt very, very disjointed. I think they should have kept this as an open world game and utilised this beautiful map that they created, because it is absolutely stunning. That ties into one little gameplay mechanic I was not expecting, because it wasn't in any of the previous Mafia games, and that is taking photos, and they've done it as a collectibles. And you're given the camera, not going to spoil the story for anyone, and there's certain icon pops up on your map every now and then saying that there's a photo to be taken. Now obviously if you're in the narrative of the actual story, it doesn't like you going off too far when you're playing. It will tell you that you have to get your arse back into whatever you were doing, but it gives the free roam something that you can do in, because it does feel very empty. I remember in the previous Mafia games, once you've completed the game, that free roam is completely pointless. Unless you are an achievement hunter or trophy hunter, free roam, once you've finished, is absolutely pointless, other than this photo mechanic. And yes, you have to adjust the focus, you have to put a certain amount of light into the photo, because obviously it's an old camera. That to me makes the free roam a little bit more interesting, but my personal feelings with regards to this game, they should have kept it as an open world, just like they did in Mafia 3, because it's a character on its own. You could have told the story in a more open world fashion and still kept it narrative driven. You didn't have to throw in all of the side quests and things like that. You could have done a few, but it just, to me, felt very, very disjointed when you're being told, no, you can't go down this road because you need to go and carry on with the mission. It just really, really frustrated me. As for collectibles, there are loads. They are scattered all around the map. I'm not even going to go into too much detail on them. Some of them are newspapers which tie into the story and the era of the game, but other than that, they don't add anything real to the story itself. You can play this entire game without having to pick up one collectible. It doesn't force you to do that in the slightest. So it's no GTA. It's not going to blow your socks off with regards to how much stuff you've got to do in the game, because it is only a AA title. So gameplay wise, you are getting AA standard, but they have gone above and beyond with the way this game looks, the way this game feels. The gameplay, obviously, as I said, my only issue with it was the gunplay. The cars in this, they feel okay. and all of that lovely stuff. So I've gone over the story, I've gone over how pretty this game looks, I've gone over the gameplay. Yes, one thing I hadn't mentioned that was in the footage below is there are little mini boss fights where you go full on Sicilian and you are having a knife fight, and they're fun to do, quite challenging, but yet again, they're simple. They only want to tell this story. So there are all my thoughts and feelings with regards to what I have experienced within Mafia the Old Country. So let's go to the main camera so I can give you my overall on how I feel about this game. So, Mafia the Old Country. To me, this game, it's not perfect by any way, shape or form. It does what it says on the tin. They are telling a compelling, heartwarming, it's an emotional story. It caught me at the end, but as I said, I am not spoiling anyone when it comes to the story in these games. They are to be experienced by yourself and how you feel at the end of it. As what else can I, character models, facials, everything. The character models to me were absolutely stunning. NPCs a bit lacking. It performed amazingly on my Xbox Series X, other than that little graphical issue with the screen tearing. But other than that, this game has blown my socks off, and I can't fault it. I know that the PC version has had issues because that blue number, I'd seen her Twitter/X post about it constantly crashing, so I'm hoping that they fix that, because you're in for a treat when it comes to playing this game. It is absolutely stunning. It was a joy to play from start to finish. Yeah, it has some replay value with regards to the rosary and changing up gameplay slightly, but once you've played that main story, there's not really much to do other than collectibles, and I can see that becoming a bit of a chore. So that to me is a bit of a letdown. They should have kept it as an open world, as I said before. So what am I going to score this? Well, I had the graphical tears, the graphics tears. I don't think it should have had the map locked away in free roam. The gun mechanics a little bit hit and miss for me compared to the previous games, but visually, as much as I had my issues, absolutely stunning. The story, 10 out of 10. I can't fault that story at all. It was absolutely awesome from start to finish. So what am I going to give it? I'm going to give this a 8 out of 10. Yeah, it's not perfect. It has its flaws, but it does what it says on the tin. It tells a compelling story and ties in quite nicely with the original trilogy. So there you have it, 8 out of 10. That's my Mafia review done. If I've missed anything or there's other things you want to talk about, please hit me up in the comments below. But what else am I gonna bring to the channel? Now, I'm contemplating live streaming the opening night live of Gamescom on Tuesday, so if you want me to do that, please hit me up in the comments and I'll have a think about it and see whether or not I can fit it in after work. But yeah, I'm contemplating doing that. If you've played any of the Mafia games and then you've played this, I'd like to hear your thoughts on how you think the other games compare to this one. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feelings in the comments below. So there you go, I've done my review. Hopefully, if I get a chance, I will be live streaming the opening night live, as I said, on Tuesday. But on that note, weather the storm, and I'll see you all on the next one.
Humans, what have you learned?